Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. My name's Sheldon and today we're on the website of Brompton's auctioneers based in the UK. We're going to have a look at their latest auction of bowed stringed instruments, and this particular auction is finishing tomorrow on the 11th of September. So I haven't done a video for a while, I've been away a bit, but now we're getting back on it because it's auction season again. For those of you new to the channel, basically we have a look at auctions of musical instruments. Could be any types of musical instruments, although there is a bit of a focus on kind of violin family. We just see if there's anything interesting. That's it, just a brief overview. I put a link in the description to the catalogue, so of course have a look at it yourself and feel free to comment, etc. Like I said, this particular auction is happening on the 11th of September, so not long left to go. Please do consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, etc. if you do like this video. Once again, just bear in mind this is a UK based auction, so if you're bidding from overseas then you might need to kind of pay extra import tax and all of that kind of fun stuff. I believe that for Brompton's there's a buyer's premium as well of 20%, so whatever the final hammer price is you pay 20% on top. There's only about 135 lots in this auction, so not too many, so we can crack on. You get an indication of their terms and stuff down here and some descriptions of the lots. So yeah, we're just going to kind of blitz through, and if there's anything interesting I'll stop to talk about it. The rest of the stuff I'll just kind of crack on past. So without further ado, we've got Gold Mounted Violin Bow by Brian Alvey there. So I'm just going to skip through things until I find something interesting, really. Oh, that's interesting. A silver mounted violin bow made for Bella Zepesi. I probably completely pronounced that wrong. It's kind of a Hungarian maker that was working in London at some point. So I've not seen a bow that was made for that maker before. So that's curious. So we've got some German bows here. French bow here by Nicolas Vorin. Estimates 2 to 3. Got a few images there. Spliced head. So you'll see somewhere, that's interesting actually, see that where the splice is, it's kind of lifted up a bit, so I would definitely, you can see where it's broken there. I'd definitely look at that in person a bit more closely. Paul Weidhaus, it is worth saying actually that this auction is like one of the lower tier ones. They have kind of a higher tier auctions, much like all the other auction houses, but this is their lower tier auction. Let's see if there's anything interesting. Good kind of German maker there, Edwin Praja. Let's see what else we've got here. It's a JTL bow here, or probably by JTL, 1000 to 1500. So kind of French workshop bows. Obviously they're not 100% certain, but some of those JTL bows can be pretty good. There's a silver mounted violin bow by H.R. Fretschner now, 6 to 800. These are getting more and more popular. The Fretschner bows are very good, very reliable. Don't knock a German bow. And like I said, this is the lower tier of auctions here. Silver mounted violin bow by Hans Carl Schmidt. It's got an insurance appraisal there. Starting bids of 2,000. So a lot of uncertain attributions in this auction, a bit more than normal, I think. But do take the time to have a look at the catalogue yourself. I'm not massively into bows at the moment, so I am a bit more brutal about that. Finding probably German. Got a lot of these kind of violins that are not a lot of descriptions going on there. Labelled Johann Gottfried. Violin by John Simpson, it's like a 1750, so kind of early English violin there. Worth asking for condition reports if they're not present. You can click on for higher resolution. It's got an interesting repair there at the back, so worth looking at. Violin circa 1800, current bid 2,600. Definitely nice back on that. 355 length of back, which is fairly good. Interesting. Violin by Andrew Simpson and Buckhaven, so it's kind of 20th century English violin there, quite nice back on that. 361, it's a little bit long. Probably English there. Interesting. Kind of scroll there. A violin, unlabelled, starting with 400, 357 length of back. So it's kind of anyone's guess, a lot of this stuff. French stuff there. Violin, mid-19th century. Labelled Gagliani. Starting bid 1600. Another London violin there, all kind of fairly similar in their kind of aesthetics. Yeah, definitely quite a speculative auction, which I think is good if you know what you're looking for. A violin labelled Carlo Storioni. Violin workshop of Roth, so these are always popular with the American audiences. 1500 bid on that already. Violin by Henry Lai Camerton, 1888. Interesting outline on that. And F-hold. Some French stuff here. Some miracle stuff there. Violin probably by Francesco Zanardi, Florence. 359 length of back there. Violin circa 1830, repairer's label from Emil Horth there. Violin late 18th century, 352 length of back there, current bid 440. So definitely a few good opportunities. Violin by Guillaume Malines, Miracle 1820. Very much in that style of French making of that period. Violin Paris or Miracle, circa 1770. It's got a dendro report from Roberto Frinari there in 2023, 1600 pounds on that. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking violin there, 1600 to start. So more kind of 19th century stuff here. Violin Michelangelo Puglisi Catania, circa 1920, current bid 1600 on that. It's definitely been played, I think, that one. Violin early 19th century. Interesting shape there. Violin probably by John Delaney, Dublin, circa 1810. Always interesting to see violins from Ireland. 360 length back there, current bid at 400. Violin circa 1800. No starting bids on that yet. Violin by Emmanuel Whitmarsh, London, 1905. You do see quite a few violins by this maker appear. Violin by Gennaro Cozzolino, Naples, 1927. Okay, they're saying that it's not a lot of work by this maker, but it resembles that of Calacha. Interesting. 800 bid on that anyway. We like a good bit of speculation. And this auction definitely has it. Back onto bows again. Nickel mounted viola bow there. School of Picat. Unstamped, starting bid 4,000. So some higher level stuff here as well. Finkel there, the good Swiss maker. Swiss workshop even. Right, onto violas here. A viola by Joseph Philippe Grandjean, Miracle. 3.5 to start. What's the size? 3/86. It's kind of smallish for a modern viola. I've got some cello bows here. An ebony mounted cello bow by a member of the Dodd family. Okay, interesting. 2/4 on that. Yeah, be an interesting bow to have a look at. Okay, gold mounted double bass bow by Bernd Dolling. 1700, yeah, interesting. Another bass bow there. Got a cello Mittenwald, 1850. Nothing too crazy. Oh, a mandolin, something a bit different by Gennaro Maglione. Current bid £90. You see a lot of these mandolins around. Gorge case, classic. Interesting wooden double bass case. So I think I saw in one film they were using one of these as like a bed for a child. We're on to some books here. Another violin, fairly standard stuff here. Another cello, some fairly standard stuff there. Violin, probably Santa de Coppi Mantua, circa 1820. Starting bid 4,000 on that. Kind of interesting scroll. Letter from Eric Blott. So that's interesting. Violin labelled Pietro Pallotta. Interesting outline there and F-holes. Quite cool wood on the back there. It's definitely unusual. 366, very large. Violin mid 19th century. Let's just carry on. Tuscan school, mid 19th century. That's a great scroll. Look at that. That is cool. That's the kind of thing that I like looking at. Looks nicely made. Length of back 360. It's got a certificate from Dimitri Gindin. So probably German. So fairly nice wood there on the back as well. Violin labelled Presender there, starting bid 4,000. Interesting. German stuff there. Violin Italy, early 18th century, with an Amati label there. Dendro, Peter Ratcliffe, 1689. So it could have been made from 1690 onwards. 2,400 starting bid. Interesting. Back there, 349. That's kind of, yeah, interesting size there. I wonder if that will sell or not. Violin circa 1750 with a Guadagnini label there. Starting bid 400. It's quite high arching on that. Another kind of 18th century violin there, 358. So there's definitely like a few kind of entry-level opportunities into some 18th century violins here, so that's definitely cool. A violin by Fausto Mario Bertucci and Aurelio Gonzalez, Rome 1928. Certificate from Eric Blott, current bid 7. So that's doing well. I think we're getting closer towards the end of this auction now. Another 18th century instrument there with kind of inked or scratched purfling. Yeah, definitely a high number of kind of speculative items in here. Violin probably English. Okay. Interesting. That's a curious looking violin. Very much looks like a boat. Yeah, definitely some curious things about. Violin by Giustino Dal Canto, Castelfranco di Soto, 1966, 357 length of back. Got 1,000 bid on that. It's very kind of plain looking instrument. Violin probably Milan, circa 1800, 6.5 to start. That's a nice looking violin. I think I have actually looked at this catalogue before. That's beautiful. Back actually. So this I like actually, might be, in my opinion, one of the nicer looking violins on this auction. 356 as well, so it's pretty good. Size. It's a violin attributed to Ferruccio Varagnolo. Okay. An interesting violin, circa 1900. Excellent, good to see this back. Bromptons used to do a lot of that kind of description of interesting, etc., but they stopped doing it, but they brought it back for us, so that's good. Violin Clot School. Okay. Violin by Lockie Hill, London, circa 1780. 2.5 bid on that. Violin Circle of John Johnston, London, circa 1750. So a lot of London makers in this sale. Another violin, probably Italian, starting bid 4,000. Miracle, violin unlabelled. Violin after Amati, probably Amsterdam, circa 1680. Interesting. Just the body there. A Chapuis here, which is kind of a maker that I really like, although this is one of the not so nice looking kind of factory ones with this varnish, which is really interesting. That you would think that this is a later trade violin, kind of 19th century, but it is legit kind of 18th century violin. So yeah, curious, some of these. Violin by Guglielmo Rossi, Pavia. 12,000 on that. And I think we're getting towards the last one here. Violin probably by Romeo Antonazzi, Cremona, 1918. Current bid 15,000. So that could jump up a bit, I suspect. 358 length of back. Oh, there is another one here. Violin probably by Carlo Antonio Testori, Milan, 1756. Later scroll, later perfume to the back. Starting bid 15,000. Be curious to see what happens with this one as well. I don't find it particularly attractive as violins go, but it might be popular. A few more here. Rare violin by Giuseppe Corgetto, Venice, 1786. Not listed anywhere as a maker, and appears to be the only known example bearing the original label. It's got a certificate of Charles Beer, so that's definitely interesting. 20,000 on that. It's got certainly interesting outline and corners there, and there's the certificate there. Yeah, so curious. Oh, we've got more than I thought. For some reason I thought there was only 135 lots, so maybe there's more. A rare violin by Benedictus Marcini, Rimini, 1716, length of back 360. So it's got its original neck, which has been re-angled at the heel. Pegs original time, okay, that's interesting. Marcini is a seemingly unknown maker, not recorded, but Dendro report says 1688 and 1690, okay. Starting with 16,000, so curious. Look at that scroll though, that's pretty cool looking scroll. Actually very nice kind of wood there on the back, so yeah, that is a pretty cool looking scroll. Okay, yeah, that is fairly interesting, and I think that is the end of this auction, and a good one to end on. So yeah, a very speculative auction, but some pretty interesting stuff, so worth checking out if you're in the market for something. Definitely worth viewing this stuff in person and arranging an appointment with them. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, really appreciate it. Link in the description, and I'll check in with you on the next video. Thanks a lot, bye.